We live in a world of crystals. Yet society is taught to scorn crystals and their use. But why? They are indoctrinated to believe crystals are satanic and occult, when in fact they are just as much a part of you or I. In fact, approximately 65% of the bone mass of an adult is hydroxyapatite or apatite crystal. Here's a cross slice of bone. Where do you see it? They are not just useless minerals and rocks found lying about. Here's a quote from Tesla. In a crystal, we have a clear evidence of existence of formative life principle, and though we cannot understand the life of a crystal, it is nonetheless a living being. So, in this video, I'll show you just how important crystals really are. Have you ever wondered, how do we balance? Small crystals called autoconia help us to balance. When these slip out of place, your balance is affected. And obviously we all know it is called vertigo. So what you're seeing here, and what I'm going to talk about now, are more crystals in the body. This is serotonin. Serotonin is the key hormone that stabilizes our mood, feelings of well-being and happiness. So it's important. It enables brain cells and other nervous system cells to communicate with each other. Serotonin also helps with sleeping, eating and digestion. This is adrenaline. So you're seeing a pattern. Adrenaline triggers the flight or fight reflex by increasing the heart rate and blood flow. It decreases sensitivity to pain and dilates pupils to improve your vision. But it only lasts a short while. And again, it's crystal. This is melatonin. Melatonin is a natural hormone that is produced by the pineal gland. Melatonin acts on receptors in your body to encourage sleep. And as you can see from this image here, it helps with the timing of your circadian rhythms, basically your internal clock. The pineal is crystal. So as you can see, the pattern of the video, the pineal gland contains stacked rhombohedral crystals of calcium carbonate that are basically capable of generating piezoelectricity. And here's a few images of them crystals which surrounds the pineal gland. Some scholars, some researchers actually call it the crystal palace, And as you know, if you're into Tartarian buildings and whatnot, you do see a lot of these glass houses, and especially the one in Crystal Palace that got burnt down. I know it's a bit still there, but you know what I mean. Tooth enamel is 96% crystal. Enamel is the hardest substance in our bodies, and it's a nano crystal basically. And here you go, here's some images of tooth enamel. Notice again the colouring and how it looks like. Yep, crystals. In this section I'm just going to show you the pros and the cons of crystal, especially one, magnetite. It's also known as lodestone, recently found in human brains. Birds have been found to have it in their beaks, basically helps them to navigate. And magnetite is a mineral whose primary component is an iron oxide that contains equal amounts of iron 2 and iron 3. Looks like an 11. Not saying anything. Its empirical formula is Fe3O4. Let's give the letters numbers. This is what I found. Wow. So F equals 6, E equals 5, U had 3, and O is 15 and 4. Let's add them together. Basically, you get 33. That's a wow to me. So, some researchers say a rise in air pollution basically has caused airborne magnetite to be found in human brains. It's only in the last 20 years. And here's a little picture of the process. Now, what is shocking, and I'll zoom in on the magnetic nanoparticles. They believe this is basically the cause for the rise in Alzheimer's. These little tiny, crystal magnetite. But what shocking thing is, it's found in liquid form because of the iron magnetite is known as ferrofluid, and what it can produce is shocking. Basically, we've seen in the last few weeks, obviously, the hot topic of graphene oxide. It's just wow. It is just shocking. So you can see what things is going on. If they can find these things in the vaccines, is this stuff being basically, as the diagram showed you, being pumped into the air, and we have this in our brains, and that's why people have to detox quite a lot. It's shocking really, isn't it? So like most things in life, you have to see one side of the story and another. Some are saying magnetite is the reason for Alzheimer's because of the basically toxic mineral found in people's brains. Now this is one form of research. Now another form of research, basically in 1982, that's when they first found these magnetite crystals in our heads. Now this is the point. Is it an agenda to cover the fact that these magnetite crystals, like what's present in birds and other animals, helps us to connect to this realm? And obviously when they say the Schumann resonance happening and frequencies change, is this what basically knocks people out of the game? These frequencies are interacting with this magnetite found in our brains. Now it could quite be the fact that it's evil and it's because of air pollution and different things, that more of this is in the brain. It's not the natural producing magnetite, and like everything, they invert things and they're controlling and manipulating people because of this magnetite. Or it could be just natural and they're trying to hide it. So you just have to look at it from all angles, see which side you guys prefer. Is it good? Is it bad? Because I've seen enough evidence for both. As we know, there's a lot of stereotypical views of people who use crystals. But in this video, that's what I want to try and show you. We are living crystals. Now here's a long clips coming up just to show you that very fact.
This is the living matrix, and the concept comes from the recognition that our bodies are a continuum. All of the parts of the body, just like all of the parts of the universe, are connected. And so this is a cell, and it's the recognition that the cell contains a matrix, which is called the cytoskeleton, which contains another matrix which is called the nuclear matrix. And it's surrounded by another matrix called the connective tissue matrix. It's the largest organ in the body. It's the only organ that touches all of the other organs. And I view this, first of all, as an electronic circuit. I've made little red dots which represent electrons. Nobody has ever seen an electron, so it's just science fiction that they're little red dots, but it's to give you the idea of the dynamic motion, movements of electrons within the circuit of the body. And what I'm interested in and believe is to be one of the fascinating, most interesting subjects I can study is the interface between space, which is the stuff that we have more of than anything else within us, which is continuous with space everywhere, which I am learning is a plasma. In fact, all of this stuff is composed and contains plasma within it. I've accepted the plasma idea. I like it. The living matrix is made of a remarkable material. It's, I think, the most remarkable material in the universe. It has amazing properties. It's a hydrated liquid crystal. It's a semiconductor. I mention these words. I've heard them mentioned in this conference. The material is piezoelectric, it's pyroelectric, it's thermoelectric, and it's an electret. This is collagen, the basic building block of the human body. It's a triple helix. This is the molecule. It's called tropocollagen. Tropocollagen, and it's surrounded by a hydration shell, a layer of water, which Dr. Pollock talked about yesterday. You are liquid crystals, every one of you. You are liquid crystals, every one of you. When we think of crystals, we think of hard things like diamond and quartz. This is a diamond quartz crystal, hard. Mineral crystals are highly ordered, dense, hard, inelastic. The atoms are highly structured. Organic crystals are also highly ordered. They're soft and elastic. They're springy. So we don't think that this material that we feel could be crystalline, but it is. Mei-Wan Ho, the principal person behind this incredible magazine, says this. First of all, various tissues in the body are liquid crystals. This is a cross-section of muscle. I think that's beautiful. I mean, there's no doubt that muscle is a crystal. This is the way collagen is organized in tendons and ligaments and other parts of the connective tissue. This is cell membranes, and all of these molecules are associated with water. So when you look at this, the way the collagen molecules are organized in the tendon, associated with those molecules are water molecules, which also form a liquid crystalline system. And Dr. Pollock talked about this yesterday. She said, and if I were an athlete or a performer of any kind, I would put this statement on my mirror so I could see it every day. Because our concepts of how our body works can help us in using our bodies. Liquid crystallinity gives organisms their characteristic flexibility, exquisite sensitivity and responsiveness, and optimizes the rapid, noiseless intercommunication that enables the organism to function as a coherent, coordinated whole.
So, what does the Bible say about crystals? Being honest, nothing really is said. It's more suggestive. The use of crystals as charms, amulets, talisman is a type of occult practice, however benign it seems. Anything that seeks to manipulate the spirit, the spirit world can be categorized as witchcraft. This is according to the Bible and research. They've labelled as idolatry, basically, looking at the idols. Now, as we know, we are made of crystal. And we know people in power want to hide that fact. Why would you want to hide the fact that we are crystal? That is what is a cult. That is what is hidden. I'm going to read out the definition for what a cult means and a few verses from the Bible, considering we're not really supposed to talk about crystal. So if you search for the definition of cult, you will actually come across a few different meanings of what it means. It's slightly trying to keep it hidden, no pun intended. The word occult is derived from the Latin adjective occultus, hidden from sight, which comes from the Latin verb occultare, to hide, to conceal, to keep secret. Both are in turn derived from the Latin noun oculus, meaning eye or oculus. Now, you've got to ask, who is keeping it occult? Who is keeping it hidden? It is not us. It is the cabal, the so-called elites. They are keeping our true power because they don't want us to know we have so much power. And that is the point. Let's make it occult, taboo. People think it's satanic, and you will not find and look into the reason how we are made, why we're made of crystal, and I want to get into a reason for that later. It's to keep us from knowing our true power. Here's some verses. Revelation 4:6, and I'm going to read a few lines. And before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal. People will be showing, Paul, that's the firmament. I'm going to get onto that soon, guys. I've made videos about that being crystal for years and years, and I used to get laughed at. Anyway, next one is Revelation 21:11. It shone with the glory of God, and its brilliance was like that of a very precious jewel, like a jasper, clear as crystal. Then the angel showed me the river, the water of life, bright as a crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb. Crystal again. I think there's about 17 verses with crystal in it. Anyway, here's another one. There shall be 12 stones with their names according to the names of the sons of Israel. It's about the breastplate. And here you go, it is. And here is what each jewel and name is. Reuben, red. Simeon, topaz. Levi, emerald. Judah, garnet. Zebulun, diamond, and so on. So you can see the significance of diamonds, opals, aquamarine. It's all crystal. Yet crystals are supposed to be idols and occult and witchcraft. Or could it be just the Bible, parts of it don't want you to know how powerful you are? Here is the word crystal. Let's break that down. Really leaving al at the end. Christ al, or is it Christ al? Al is another form of el, which is godly. So he's saying crystal means Christ, God. Now you see why it's so influential and why I love talking about this topic. Crystal means Christ, God. So crystal means Christ, God. That Dr. Oshman believes we are living crystal. And according to Genesis 1:27, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. So crystal means Christ God. God is crystal, and amongst many other things, and he created us in his image. So aren't we not crystal? I've showed you how much percentage is crystal. Just gets you thinking, and that's all I want to do, is to help people to think and look at topics sometimes they might not look at and think, that's not interesting. Well, I'm showing you that crystal is more than what we're led to believe. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. It's a mouthful, I know, but it's Genesis. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. Here's something else that I found that you might all have seen. It's by Flavius Josephus. After this, on the second day, he placed the heaven over the whole world and separated it from the other parts, and he determined it should stand by itself. He also placed a crystalline firmament around it, and put it together in a manner agreeable to the earth, and fitted it for giving moisture and rain, and affording the adventure of dews. No, this is liquid crystal. Tell me, doesn't it look like stars in the sky? This liquid crystal is being stimulated by electricity. Basically, like the world we live in, it is all electromagnetism. Liquid DNA. Look at the colours. This is a star, by the way. It's like looking at liquid crystal. You just saw all of the images, the video clips of crystal and DNA. It is just looking identical. Now, if you're looking at this, what also reminds you of liquid crystal? Yep, I've been saying it for many years. The Northern Lights, or the Aurora Borealis as it is known to me, is liquid crystal. It's like looking at a TV screen. And obviously with electromagnetism and electrics, hitting the gases, it creates this pattern. But have a look at liquid crystal in the glass reacting to temperature change, hot and cold. Tell me that's not what we see in the sky. And from the touch, it's just like what I've been describing for many years, that it's all one liquid crystal. So while I've just been talking about the Aurora Borealis and liquid crystal being the firmament, etc, etc, I wanted to touch on this because I saw something. Now, this is known as the squatter man. I've touched about it in various videos. I think the last one was Tempest Fugit because it looks like an hourglass. But as you saw from the original picture at the beginning, the pinkish purple, that was an experiment done in the lab using plasma, and it's the same effect. Now we find, as you saw from the pictures, you'll find a similar shape all around this realm. So people believe it was a type of a reset or something that happened in the skies. Well, if I'm saying liquid crystal is in the sky, is the firmament, is there an experiment with liquid crystal that could point to another famous symbol? And I believe I found it, and to me it's identical and it's wow, and I'm going to show you now, guys. Right, so here's what I'm talking about. Have a look at this liquid crystal being controlled under a microscope. Have a look at the patterns that it's making. I'll slow it down because obviously it's a GIF and your eyes will be going trippy anyway. Just have a look at the patterns. I can see a very, very ancient symbol. I can see a few, to be honest, to be fair, and I'm going to show you a few that it could be now. Here's another experiment with similar. Can you see the patterns that liquid crystal makes when it's being excited with electricity or warmth or cold? Here's a picture, still picture. Do you not see spiral petroglyphs all around the world in this liquid crystal? I do. Now if you look closely at the screen coming up, you can see a circular circuit at the top right. You have the labyrinth in the cathedral. You even have Christ in the centre of a labyrinth. Christ, God, crystal in the centre, liquid crystal at the top. Tell me they're not similar. I'll show you more spiral petroglyphs now. And I'll zoom in. Tell me what people have not been drawing could be interpreted as what I'm showing you on the right. Liquid crystal. To me, they are one and the same. So if a plasmeric or something happened in the firmament many millennia ago, people drew what they saw. And I've always talked about this. It could be, yes, the bicameral mind, it could be influenced by something, but as I'm showing you there, liquid crystal is everywhere. You had Christ in the sense of the labyrinth, that yes, could be the mind, it could be a spiritual journey, and the labyrinth means so much. I've done many videos on that, but I'm showing you that the spiral is identical to liquid crystal, and that is the firmament, and something happened in the sky creating those patterns. People saw what these, what they seen, and they drew it. Are they not identical? I believe so. See what you guys think. So in instance of piezoelectricity, you can see the skeleton walking. The pressure from walking creates the piezoelectric effect. They're using it in roads now. The pressure from traffic, the pressure from people actually physically walking on the piezoelectric generators, the pads, creates free energy. It's simple. But we've been using them for a long time, and a lot of people just didn't realize it. If people smoke or use a lighter a lot, when you click the ignition, you're actually hitting the piezoelectric element, the crystal, which creates a spark. Look at lightning hitting. It's the pressure from the waters above. When crystals are struck together, they release an electric spark of energy referred to as piezoelectricity. Firstly, here's a demonstration of piezoelectricity, and it's really basic. It's just crystal hitting crystal. Now you can see the sparks it creates. But you might be thinking, well, that's not much. It's just a basic showing. Now let's do the same, and I'll turn the lights off. So when the lights are turned off, you can see it just looks like an electric storm, thunder. It does to me, and that's just a basic form of a few crystals in a box. Now, some people believe Earth's DNA is crystal because there is that much of it. Well, humans are crystalline beings too, as I've showed you, and we use piezoelectric effect too. So when we entangle our human crystalline field with the crystalline field of planet Earth, we gain energy. We embrace a higher level of consciousness via the electromagnetic expression of our DNA. Some call this earthing, others call it grounding. Why do you think they do it? They do this because it has so many benefits. Reduces inflammation, decreases pain, decreases stress responses, improves sleep, improves wound healing. So if the ancients did this, and the invention of wearing shoes constantly in rubber is taken away for this fact, is it now that more and more people are looking to, yep, the Earth was one big motherboard, circuit board, make more sense. People were barefooted, walking around these motherboard cities, these circuit board cities, and they were constant grounding. Health was better, people were bigger. Maybe this was the reason, one of them behind having giants or longer living. It's just an idea, but just shows you that our connectivity to Mother Earth has been broken through, obviously, the invention of rubber soles, trainers, and things like this. We've all been talking about it, and yet it's just showing you we are walking bags of piezoelectricity. We are living crystal, just like that guy Jonathan said before in the quick video. Now I can see why grounding earthing works, because obviously Earth is a motherboard, and we are connecting direct to the source. The Lites say the sun is 92 million miles away. That's another 11. But we'll not go there. We know it's a local light source and not 92 million miles. Some ancient astrologers believed it was made from crystal. That's why I'm basically talking about it. 2 clips taken by me prove it ain't 92 million miles away. And that's coming up in a sec. I capture what I believe are solar flares, supposedly impossible if it's 92 million miles away, and I've got a cheap Panasonic camera. I ain't the greatest, but you'll soon see, and you'll see the flares shooting out all the way around it. I do slow it down because, like I said, I got 2 bits of footage. I didn't know it at the time, and you'll just see little white bursts. I call them sun farts. And you'll see it once it zooms in. You can quite see it. All the little bursts all around it, like just explosions. And this is before I had a sun filter. And the next one is I have a filter and it changes it slightly. So obviously I had 2 footage. I didn't know what I captured at the time because normally I go out and take pictures of the sun anyway and the moon. But you can just see the little contrast. You even saw like what looked like a lunar wave then at the bottom. And you can see the solar flares. I do slow it down a little bit, and I have some still photos to show you guys that, yep, I actually caught what I believe is solar flares, and you shouldn't be able to capture that with a Panasonic Lumix. I know I'm all over the place, but I don't have a stand or anything. So slow it down now, and you can just see little white flares all the way around popping out of what that local object is. And I didn't realise till I looked at the footage and I put it on social media. I was like, no way. Crazy, isn't it? And then what I'll do is now I'll show you a still footage photograph and a big arrow to just point to the biggest one so that you can actually see. And there you go. You can see a solar flare shooting out. How is that possible if not local? And like I said, some astrologers from ancient times believe it was a focusing crystal to focus the radiation onto this realm. So there you go, guys. Just another link to crystals. So you guys know I treat everything as information. I just look at it and say, what? I'm going to add that. And I came across this, and it's Kara Ya Sa Ta Ha La, and they're the 7 tones of creation that make up the crystalline body, which is all colours of the rainbow merged into one frequency called diamond light. So whether you believe it or not, these people are talking about how the frequencies of creation are crystal. So that's just, as you know, I'm making a video on crystal, so I have to put what I can find in, just to show you the importance of it. Now what's coming up now is a new phenomenon that's not long been started seen. They're called rainbow clouds. Now it could be artificial, obviously with the stuff they're pumping in the air, but below I found a picture of basically never seen before topological solutions experimenting with liquid crystals. Please tell me again that I'm not saying they're exact, but you can see how my mind works, and to me it looks a similar type of effect. And that's what gets me about crystals, because it's one of the things they do is they have double refraction or bifringence, and I'll show you a little gift that I found just to show you just that, like when light is shined through crystal, it can break up. Obviously we all know the Pink Floyd album cover, that is just another example. So to finish off, I just want to show you something else. I know it's not a great picture, but this is from the living matrix. Now if you look to the bottom left, look at what a ligament looks like. Now when I saw that, I was like, wow. Now this is just me interpreting on what it looks like. Doesn't it look like all these platforms that people call giant stairs that's found all around this realm? It personally does to me. I'm not saying it is it, because obviously people take everything word for word. I'm just showing you the likeness. That could that be that, because it does look identical. And it's not the only thing that using crystal that I can show. This is at the Giant's Causeway. Famous images of, you know, hexagonal shaped rocks. Now this is collagen again. Look at the pattern it makes. Tell me that is not what I'm seeing at the Giant's Causeway. And again, it's just my interpretation of the information I'm seeing. But I think, wow, don't they both look similar? And it just then brings up all the other, you know, your imagination starts getting flowing. What if this is this, this and this? And that's the beauty of just looking at information again and having no restrictions on what you're seeing. Just go with wow. And that's what I love doing. I just like going with wow and treating everything at face value. And then I like to find other information that makes that wow not look crazy, if that makes sense. That's just what I love doing. I know we're all different. That's what makes this place a brilliant place, when we can all acknowledge we're all different. So to finish off, guys, I want to show you this. I meant to put it in earlier, but you know, you get carried away. What you're seeing is a crystal radio, and the beauty of that is obviously it's a receiver. It receives radio waves from the radio stations, but that's what powers it. That is the beauty of it. Yep, there's no power. So back in the day, they had these crystal radios that just worked off the power from the frequencies themselves, from the radio channels, the EMF. Now, if a radio can do that and it's receiving, what do you think the power of a human can do? We are receivers, but we're also transmitters. And we produce our own energy through food, through, you know, other methods. But, you know, we can create power, energy, yet we're also crystal based. So we can receive signals. And that just gets you thinking, doesn't it? When I talk about the antenna in our heads, the piezoelectric effects of the pineal gland, so much more. We are powerful. All this is being hidden and classed as a cult. So you can see why I get excited about it. Yes, it's something different, this video, than what people might have expected. But coming up now is my thoughts. So I'll have a good natter in there. And hopefully, guys, you enjoyed the video.
Yeah, they call me the black sheep. You know they call me the black sheep. I'm running wild while you're asleep. That's why they call me the black sheep.
Hello and welcome. Hello to the old subscribers and the current subscribers. Thank you for your support. It's been brilliant as always. And for any new subscribers that I've got this week since they appeared on Campbell Autodidactics channel. So if you've not saw that, go and check out his channel. Obviously most of you already know him. I try, you know what I'm like, I don't get out much, so you know what I mean, I get excited. So thank you and welcome. Thanks for all the support that everyone shows me. You don't realise how much it helps. So this video is, it's not an old video, but I made a video a year, 2 years ago, and then some of the other content in it is 3 years old or more that I've posted on social media and different things like that, and it's in regard to crystals. Now, if you want to check out the old video, if you remember, I'll put the link to that. Some of it you'll recognise when you watch this video, but there's people that's watched that and they won't recognise this video, you know what I mean? So it's that much, basically it's a newer video, but I've just used the information. You get it, what I mean? But if you remember, I'll put it in the description so you can just check out the slight different. In that video, I slightly go more into crystals. This is like an overview of the theory, not the actual substance of crystals. I just felt this was the right time to do it like this, just to give people a broader sense of what goes on in his crazy head and what's been in his crazy head for a long time. I mean, because I see some of my theories banding around social media, and I know people's got it from me, but you know what I mean? That's what we're here to do. I don't have, you know, we all have egos. In a sense, I just, you know, I'm like you guys. It's just every now and again it's nice to say, yeah, I've got it from here, I've got it from there. You know what I mean? It's just tilting your cap to your fellow YouTube creators. But some people just not like that, are they? So, what do you think? The main goal of this video was to show you just how significant, and I didn't really go into a great detail, even though it took ages to make. And I'll use my thoughts to go in through extra stuff. But it's just amazing what crystals can do. Now, when you look at it, the reason the church treated them as like idolatry, or is it adultery, idols, and adultery, I can't pronounce it, but you get the gist, and I said it in the video, that they wanted people not to know the significance of crystals. So if crystals are such bad things, occults, witchcraft, blah, 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 we are made of them. So can you get my point? That is why when I see people calling crystals, it's the occult, it's witchcraft, it's pagan, people don't even realise the actual definition of what pagan is. I've talked about that many times, and I'm not going to go into that too. But I am like this. If you know, we all have type of mentality, don't we? If someone says they're bad, you're like, oh, why is it bad? They don't tell you why. It's like they're trying to keep secret. And that's what it is. It's showing you the true potential of us. The earth is made of crystal. You can see it everywhere. Yet when I say, guys, you actually made a crystal yourself, people are like, really? So that's why I wanted to make this video again, because I've seen a lot of people talking about crystals, and if they actually knew that you was made of crystal, and to the extent of what the crystal is in your body, people would be amazed. And that is why I made this video. It's not like to say I'm not, you know what I mean? These are all from the interwebs, books and different things, and we know all them sources are basically someone's opinion, and sometimes you can say it's a scientific experiment, but you know what I mean, that's how they get to scientific experiments in the first place, by following in what they do. You know, they do the experiment so many times, they theorize about it, and they try and recreate the experiment. So in this, I've showed you that the skeleton is 65% crystal. Think about that. If a crystal radio, just from the basic form of whatever type of crystal that gets used in that, can power a radio and also amplify it too, so you can hear the music or someone from talking at the other end. That to me is a wow, because we are receivers. You know what I mean? At the fundamental, we are walking piezoelectric receivers, but we also transmit. And that is why when I talked about an old video last year, a year before that, people talk about viruses not existing at the base level, which is correct of what we can see. But I don't look at it as a virus, as a virus. I look at it via us. It's a signal, it's a frequency, it's a tone. And for instance, we've all seen that image of the frog in the water, going ribbit, and the frequencies of the tones being cymatics hitting the water and the frequency going outwards. So in an old video that I theorised that is how people get ill. We all have a so-called immune system, and there's certain people coming out now saying that is an actual myth. So you can see the point. You're always going to find an alternate answer to your question. But I believe that when people get ill, we're taking this basically crap, the virus, the molecular proteins, whatever you want to call these things that get put into our bodies. Obviously, it needs something alive to replicate, according to sources. So it's dead, hits our immune system, then we can replicate. And we've seen series like Utopia using about the Jennings protein, and so many films basically. So I believe that we ingest all this crap through the foods, through the waters, because they're talking about putting graphene oxide in water, and alternate, the air we breathe, the magnetite that we talked about in the video, food, water, you name it, we're ingesting all this rubbish. And people talk about it daily, eating all this crap, you are what you eat. So you think about that now, we swallow these things, and we're radio, receivers and transmitters. So if we have a virus in us, like I said many years ago, I believe we transmit a signal. So when we start to get not well because of the viruses replicating us through eating food, because I know they've done experiments. Like I said, I'm not just born yesterday, and I know they did experiments with smallpox and different things, taking mucus from horse noses, things like that, injecting that into people, and they didn't get ill. So there's something that's making people ill. Now you can say it's the climate, the weather, all of the above, but we know a virus is essentially dead. But there's something making people ill. EMFs I talk a lot about, because electromagnetic frequencies, we're blanketed in them. So if we are walking transmitters, receiving all these signals, making us, there's only so much you can block out. And obviously some crystals actually protect you from that, like black tourmaline and things like that, and black shungite. So these are the points. If we're transmitting, and when we talk, the frequency hits a medium. And I've talked about how these mediums, like my lamp or the wall or a curtain or you at the side, if you've got a virus in you that's dormant, and basically hearing a distress signal, a frequency to turn it on. And that is how I believe people are getting ill from colds and different things. The frequencies are basically dampening down on you, And when you eat all these foods, if you walk past someone who is basically transmitting, because if we're walking radio receivers, transmitters, and you're transmitting a frequency, maybe that is how people get ill, because you're walking past someone, and if they're, because it's common sense, isn't it? It's like that. Is it terrain versus I forgot now, it's just gone out of my head. Terrain versus thingy, germ theory, when it's talking about a fish in a bowl, fish in a fish bowl, clear water and it's dirty water. Do you just change the water, or do you treat this, treat the fish? If you are constantly getting barraged by negativity, it has an effect on you. And negativity is a frequency, because obviously people are talking down to you, gaslighting. It's not just physical abuse, it's mental abuse. The power of the mind is a computer. And obviously when people are talking like negativity, it has a force on it. That's why it's called spelling. It's basically the cymatics and the physical, when it hits you, sticks and stones. And I always believe they got that wrong. Sticks and stones can hurt your bones, but words and spells, they ingrain into you. That's why a lot of mental abuse takes longer, if never, to get over, because obviously the negativity is seeped in and it's sigilled. Basically, like if you ever watch Supernatural, and the carving Enochian ruins into the skeletons so they can be protected. That's just how I see these viruses, the frequencies, the harmonics. If we are all receivers and you download, for instance, you're on your computer and you're downloading music, and you click on a song you download and it contains a virus. But it's hidden in malware, and then only comes on when you open it, or blah, blah, blah. So you can see my point. We're downloading these viruses through food and everything because we're crystal, we're oscillating. We've all seen the memes of how a quartz crystal oscillates that much. It's neither solid or liquid, but because obviously we touch it, it feels like solid. So these are how I see this crazy world, that we're walking receivers and transmitters. So you transmit. So if you're happy, you're transmitting a happy feeling. It's a frequency. That's why what I've always said, when you walk into a room, people can feel that you're happy. It's not just about the look on your face. So it's like when someone's smiling like this, but you know them and you can feel a vibe. And you say, "You're not kidding me. What's wrong?" Because a hide hides so much. A smile hides so much. Because it's a frequency. We're oscillating, we're transmitting. Walking, we have the pineal gland. That is a crystal. Some people call it the crystal palace. And then you have all the Bible verses about the throne, and how it's, basically mounted on the seat of glass, crystal palace. So you can see why it gets me excited, especially if you look at the etymology of the word crystal and you just break it in half. Christ, al Christ, God. God is everything. So why wouldn't it be crystal? And that's what I mean. People automatically, we do it. If I said to you, pagan, doesn't matter if you research and you know what pagan means, because you've been brought up on society. As soon as you mention pagan in films and TV, you're thinking of devil worship and a ritual. So that's why I always talk about that online dictionary that they changed. So we actually know just by thinking about it. And like Bruce Lee said, the body doesn't know any difference. So words, spells, frequencies, harp, why it has an effect on us, why EMF has an effect on us. Because we're receivers. We're basically bringing that frequency on us and inside us, and it does a lot of damage. So, that's why you have positive and negative, a different amplification of a frequency. Right, that's a mouthful. So that's why I get excited, because crystal radios, people talk about, they work off no power but the frequency that they receive. The earth is crystal. You're talking about the Schumann resonance. If they are messing around with the Schumann resonance, adding their own frequencies, and if we are on Earth itself and used to ground to it. Now we wear shoes and different things. And that's why I always recommend, if some people are ill, please just go out in the garden or find some dirt and just walk around. They say up to 40 minutes does significantly improve you, and it's helped me, and it helps me to de-stress as well, because we all get it. We can all be happy, but it's a dark side inside. You know what I mean? What you see outside is not necessarily what's going on inside. That's why I always tell people to just respect the difference, because these people might be trolling or different things, but you don't know what's going on at their end to make them like that. And that's why I try and be more polite, on a whole. But some society at the minute is just not letting you. So that's just a little jump in of what frequencies are. I've seen research using crystals in the ground helps the plants to grow better. So there is a lot to do with crystals that, you know what, Paul, you've made me think. And that is my goal. You don't have to believe what I've said. You don't have to take it on board, really. Long as you go away from watching this and think, you know what, it's given me something to think about. That is what I love. And that is what I aim for, to give people something else to think about. I've talked about some of the things in this video for years. And you know what I mean? I just love to think critically. Some of these theories that I was using here, in the sense of the firmament being a liquid crystal, they're the ones where I got my name from. My old name, the Black Sheep Researcher. I was putting these theories years ago onto social media, and people in that community ostracized, laughed at me, saying you're a joke, blah blah blah, make me to feel like I am the black sheep in a society of supposedly black sheep. So I was the outcast of the outcast, and that is where I got the name from, for the Black Sheep Researcher. And sometimes I'll always be the black sheep, and I know I am. The new iteration is What the Flock TV, but I'll always be the Black Sheep Researcher. So that's where I got the name from, because I was working on these theories. And yes, I know I'm not perfect, and I'm not right in the sense of all the time, or most of the time, but I'm trying to get through this reality the best I can. And you have to do what's best for you first, and your family. And then obviously, if you're a good person, it generally reflects on how you treat people in society. If you're a shit, an evil person, have a negative type of effect. Doesn't matter if you're researching the truth, you can have a negative effect on people, because you're not going to be open to different theories and topics. You don't have to take all the topics on board. You just have to acknowledge that people put in some good work, hard work, and that's just what they see. So, like I put in the video, I believe it's a liquid crystal firmament, and it's sentient. In the sense of it can react, it can turn solid, it can turn to gas, liquid. And that just made me interested in the fact that when you look at liquid crystal, it just looks like the same as what I see in the sky, what the northern lights look like, what this looks like. And people say, well, the northern lights is also due to an electric current, electromagnetism hitting the noble gases, creating all these beautiful lights. But what happens if it's the firmament, what is supposed to be crystal, is liquid crystal, and it can react in so many different ways that I've showed in the video. I'm just showing you what I think, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Again, you don't have to take it on board, and there's many holes in it, blah blah blah. But what's wrong with it? You see a lot in these in groups saying, "Oh, I believe it's this," and then leaving you like, and it's like that's supposed to give a reason. I've been spouting about this for so long, and you can see through my work how I've transcended and moved on to different topics. But it's still a part of me. I still find it fascinating that crystals can create free power in piezoelectric effect. People talk about the ether. You've only got to talk about when in creation, if you believe in the Bible or whatnot, but it's still, evidence to talk about and use and theorize on. That if there was waters above and there was waters below, and the void in the middle, hence, if pressure is put on from both ways, that connectivity will create free power which is the ether, which is lightning. It makes perfect sense. Piezoelectricity, the pressure from whatever above pressing on the liquid crystal creates free energy. People can call it plasma. Plasma can have crystals. Used to make TVs out of plasma. I think one was called Plasmatron. Not like the actual TV companies, but you know what I mean, the actual method of making it. Like liquid crystal displays we have on our... So, notification. So you can just see how... See? Your screen can produce a picture. Don't liquid crystals look like stars? There is one image that I found, it would just look identical to stars. So these are things like I want to use to say, listen, if that looks like that, could that be that? And some people will, nah, you're way out there, Paul, and that's cool. Because we see different things. And there would be someone think, wow, Paul, yeah, it does look like I can see where you're coming from. And then say, well, I used to think, and look what we can mould and fit. And that's how we progress. And that's what, obviously, you know, guys, I love doing. So you had the liquid crystal firmament, you had electricity. Obviously, people call it the ether. You can call it different names, but pressure. And we have crystals in the ground too. So, if, like I was saying on Campbell's channel in the week, if you want to check that out, go to his channel. It's just a video that we did together. If the ground is crystal and they're oscillating at a certain frequency, is this what keeps this plane stabilized? And if there are certain frequencies that hit these basically veins, is that what basically causes liquefaction? So there's different methods and way you look at it. And crystals in films, crystals in TV, Wizard of Oz. There's people talking of Atlantis being basically made of crystals. You saw that in certain films. I think it's a Disney's Atlantis, when they had those certain crystals that powered the city and powered the force field. These things are just there for us to jump in, take what we need out of it, and see if we can progress the painting, the drawing of what we think this reality is. And crystals was a big part of me becoming who I am. It's not in the sense of I can name every crystal, but I was just looking at crystals from a different point of view. Like Vogel, the guy who was behind IBM, he does a well, he did, I think he's dead now. He did a Vogel cut of not diamonds, crystals in the computers, and he was saying, and got on testimony, whether you believe him or not, you know, there's no way we can prove either, but he said he saw liquid crystal under a microscope change and form to whatever he was thinking. Wow. You then have orgone busters, don't you? Cloud busters, orgone crystals. You had the topical solution looking like the rainbows going to like Pink Floyd through the birefringence of crystals, because it can double refract. So when you can see the refraction of water when the sun hits it and goes down, and that's what people say, the beauty of a liquid crystal, it can double refract as well. Wow. You had Pythagoras, you had other philosophers and astrologers talking how the sun is a crystal to focus. I believe there's more than one sun to focus different energies on the different realms. That's just my opinion. So a lot of the things I couldn't put in the video that were in the other video, and they're just for your perusal. You had like the magnetite argument. Is the magnetite good or bad? Because I've seen people showing you that it's the antenna and it's what helps us connect to Mother Earth. Because obviously magnetism, because there's native magnetite, or it's called lodestone. Could that what be the four pillars are made out of? And it's really magnetic. And then I've saw other arguments saying that the rise of Alzheimer's is because of the magnetite particles in the fumes. Obviously you're breathing it in and it's getting lodged in the brain. Whether there might be a differentiate between native man-made, native God-made magnetite and man-made. For instance, that's why it looks like the black goo, it looks like the graphene oxide. And if you've not saw my graphene video etymology, please check it out. Basically what the etymology series that I do is called Spell Etymology. It's just my opinion. looking at words differently, breaking them down differently, and see if I can come up with some interesting etymology of words. So check that series out. So we have all this, and I don't know if they're good or bad because I've seen both evidence. What makes me feel that it could be bad is in the sense of it was only found 20 years ago, but that doesn't mean anything, obviously, because they control the media. So I'm halfy on that. See what you guys think about that. But it's interesting if that's in our brains, and then there's a field EMFs, 5G, and these particles can move to certain parts of the body, certain parts of the brain, influencing how we act, mind control. Who knows? Just something again to ponder on. I mean, we have, like I said, you can't believe mainstream science, but again, I'm just showing you what I found, and what I didn't include in this was frog in my throat, that mainstream say the core of this earth is crystal. It's crystal forest. And I'll see, as soon as I say core of the earth, you'll get some flat earther who gets triggered. Oh, there's no such thing as a core of the earth. It's not circle. How do you know? How do you know? I research dudes and ladies. You know what I mean? I know the cola ball drill has only gone certain down, and it got snapped. It got basically couldn't go any further. What did it hit? Even the drills are made out of crystal, diamond, and it couldn't get any further. So a core is just at the centre. It could be centre of a flat plane, or if you believe it's a dome, you know what I mean? It is what it is. So if they're saying that, and we know the crystals are everywhere, it's common sense to think, yeah, I don't believe this and this, but yeah, I can see your point that it's why there's a lot of crystal in the ground. What's the purpose? Is it, like certain people say, the DNA of the earth? Is that where it helps to store all the DNA, all the frequencies? Who knows? Like I said, I don't know what this realm is. I've looked into flat earth and convex, concave, dome. I've looked into everything. And all I know is if everything is a frequency, everything is a wave, what is it? Is it a simulation? Is it something like Westworld? Are we in a quarantine zone with a man-made firmament made out of liquid crystal? A screen like, is it the Mockingbird or something when it shoots up and it smashes? You know what I mean? I know what I can see. And then I'll get people saying, oh, it's flat, it's a flat. Guys, if you just knew, I've looked into everything and I don't discard nothing and I don't agree with everything. I just love using the information that I found to progress my mind. You know what I mean? So it's so funny when people, I mean, I've had about 6 emails this week saying, do you know who Janice is? I'm like, what? And I have to play with some of them. So I do apologise for any of them people that, you know, obviously I've told them, you know what I mean? But they mention me, oh, you know what I mean? It's like, do you know who Janice is? We've seen him everywhere now because there's a guy. I'm like, do you not see? Do you not see my face in the videos? Oh, God. Oh, it just makes me day. You know what I mean? It's so funny. It's like, I'm like, no, tell me more. Oh, dear me. But you know what I mean? I do like researching, obviously, Janos for various reasons. But I'm much more than that, and people know. But you do have your like go-to thing. We all do, don't we? And that is mine. So I wanted to make something a little bit different, even though I've made this before. Like I said, if you go to the link, I'll try and remember to put it in. If not, it's on my Odyssey and it's under the same title. You'd be like, no, it's not even the same. So I did talk about things in this, like for instance, Squatterman. That was according to some to be a plasmeric type of event, and it's linked to a lot of things. I've done videos on it, and that appeared in the sky, and people drew it as a petroglyph. And that got me thinking, is okay, that was in the sky. So people, you can either draw what they see, or that bicameral mind, again, it was affecting them. And think about it, if we had a different consciousness, and we're all frequencies, and that's all waves, it ties in with that, doesn't it? It's just a different frequency from Mother Earth, giving different people, we're all unique. And we have a different antenna, and some of us pick up more, some of us don't. So the people who are more sensitive have a better frequency, better antenna, pick up more waves, can see things differently. So if they draw that petroglyphs, that's what I saw in the sky. That is why I included that bit about how they did an experiment for liquid crystal, and you can see the whirls, the spirals. And as soon as I saw that, because obviously I've done enough like perusing of the web, and I love ancient cultures, I saw the spiral petroglyphs straight away. And sometimes you have to be worried, is it the paradiola, or is the paradiola made to make people like me think like you're going crazy, or it's not actually there? And remember, that's why I always try and treat everything as just information. You know what I mean? If I see something and it looks like that, I'll say that's what it looks like. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong, it's just that what I'm seeing. Our eyes have a different frequency from each other. When you have little like almond eyes like this, and you have astigmatisms, which I have them, it lets more light in, so you actually seeing something different. And that's why I did that poll, and it come out that a lot of people are having it. Now, is this natural, or is it, them controlling the way we see? I just don't know. I believe we're all made uniquely, and Mother Earth, the Creator, whoever you believe in, is fighting back, helping people to become fighters, so we can go out there and show people a different opinion, a different perspective. So we have that, and that's why I showed you a few of the pictures. We have the labyrinths in the churches, and we also have the spiral petroglyphs, and they all look like it. Well, it did to me, so let's see what you guys think on that. And I'm just thinking, if this is a liquid crystal firmament, and the plasma type of a reset of frequency, because remember, that's what amount appears in your vocal cords. So if God spoke and created that pattern in the sky, is this what happened on another time? Because people talk about how it's stars and it's whirling, and to me, if that is liquid crystal firmament, and forever type of event happened, creating basically them whirls, and people looked up, saw them, and drew them, that's what I'm getting at, and that is what I see. Again, it is perspective based. Just like when I looked at the living matrix and saw ligaments, it looks like steps. Doesn't mean I'm saying every step or all steps could be giants or ligaments like that, because a lot of these platforms are built like that for obviously agriculture, and this is just mainstream obviously saying this, agriculture, and also helps to filter the water through for circulation, and also they are supposedly earthquake proof, or like some people believe, could they be giants? Just by looking at that. Then you look at the other collagen and how that looks like the giant causeway, and then other thank you hexagonal shape type of pillars out there. That again, just because it looks like it doesn't mean it's it. It just makes your imagination go, wow, could it be? Because that's what I love. You know what I mean? When I look into things, thinking a different perspective, a different angle on it. If that's that, could that be that? And then you either get to a brick wall and start again, or it opens up other avenues. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I put a lot into it. I didn't mean to talk as long. I just get excited that a substance, mineral, it's not just laying about. Everything in this realm is being put here for a specific purpose. You have the plants as medication for food, etc., etc. Obviously, and then you have the photosynthesis. You then even got the system of us producing CO2 that obviously fuels the plants because they need it. So it is a beautiful, in a sense of everything is in a cycle. Everything works. Everything has a reason. So are crystals bad? Or is it the intent and the person who is using them? I believe it's the intent and the person who's using them, because it's all down to obviously these people. Because, for instance, you have a gun. A gun's not bad. It doesn't kill. It's the person who pulls the trigger. Obviously, that's a device. If you believe in magic and you have a wand, is it the wand or is it the person casting the spell? We're wands. We're crystal wands. We're crystal receivers and transmitters. We transmit negativity, positivity, other thoughts. That's why we talk about you're on the same wavelength. When when you watch something or you start going on a topic, you've also got what I did talking about how the Stockholm effect, Stockholm syndrome of people actually starting to like the captives. Because when you start sharing any time of space, physical, mentally, online, my energy is still going through this. People can feel I'm genuine, or I'm not well, or I'm happy, you know what I mean? Or I'm crazy. Because we're on the same wavelength. So when you start to watch my stuff, you adopt my frequency. You acquire my frequency. So when you adopt more frequencies, it's just like a radio channel. You've got more things to go through. So you can just turn over different frequencies, and whatever I'm talking about that day, through this, you receive. More channels, more light, more energy, more knowledge. You're learning more. If you just watch one channel, that's the only radio signal you receive, and how that will affect how you see life. Just how you're brought up makes you into what you are now. That is what the beauty of this is. We are receivers and transmitters, and it's also the evil as well, because they have HARP, 5Gs, 6G, 7, whatever they're going to go to. But frequencies do a lot of damage. And if we can receive it, if a piece of plastic with, you can even make them out of cardboard and wood and different things, these crystal radios, it's amazing. You don't need no power. And then you're like, well, if they can do that with a radio receiver, why can't they do that for power for houses and different things? And if you one that believes in Tesla, he supposedly did it. I have no way of proving it. We look at antiquity tech, and people talk about the antennas getting energy from receivers, and people have made Tesla towers and different things, and it's shown to provide energy. So we can see it from that point of view that it is. But that is the point. What I'm actually trying to say, the beauty of us, because we are 65% crystal, just our skeleton. And then you have all the melatonins, the serotonins, the adrenaline. Is that why they have adrenochrome? Because obviously I believe power, energy, light is stored in the crystals in our blood, because we obviously have blood crystals too. And is that why they're injecting it with that? Memories, also strength. So it's just intriguing to look at crystals in a different point of view, but not like go, oh, this is a quartz, this is tourmaline, this is, you know what I mean, and go, this is what this is. That's information, but I just wanted to look at it from a totally different perspective. From, you can, esoteric or whatever you want to call it. I'm just how I am, I'm just different. But I like learning, and I like looking at, like I said, I just love looking at things differently. So you picture us walking, and that is why they put shoes on us. Because if we could connect to Mother Earth constantly, is that why people were bigger? Was that why people were better health of living? Because people say, oh, we live longer now, but it used to be a case of you never thought the ancients, and I think it was only from the Victorian. I know you had these plagues and that, but it's history. Do we know this is what happened? All I know is that when you ground yourself to Mother Earth, the circuit board, the motherboard, I feel better. I feel charged. And if that helps you to last longer, did that help us to grow better? If we were walking barefoot from birth, did that change a lot of how we are? And that's an interesting point to think. That is why modern society wears shoes. And I know shoes have been in for a long time. But if you think about how people are looking now at circuit board, earth, motherboard, earth, and if they're laid out like that, and we are walking back to liquid crystal and circuit boards, that's why we have circuitry systems. It's just an organic one. That when we connect, the positivity charges us and helps us to heal, and all the other benefits of grounding or earthing. Just makes you think, doesn't it? And that's all I want to do, is to make people think. You know what, Paula had a point there. Paul didn't hear. Paul's lost the mind. Paul's lost the plot. It's all good unless I've made you think. And that's why I put the piece in about the sun. A lot of ancients believe it was a focusing crystal, and through the Great Vowel Shift and different things, when it actually got changed to heliocentrism or centric, it's 92 million miles away. That's 11 again. And then all the other 11s in regard to the sun that I've showed you so far. But it's a ritual. But if it is a crystal, do we charge from that? Because there's people talking about how the sun used to charge our pineal gland, go through our eyes, agitate the crystals in the pineal, and we get that spark. Makes you think, gets you exciting, and it makes you wonder what else are we missing. But society are not here for our benefit. They're here to put us down. They want us to think we are small, we're insignificant. And like I post on social media in the week, and other people have done their stories, a grain of sand or dust is insignificant. They say we come from dust from stars, but you get that dust in your sinus and you get a sinus infection, and people know how crippling they can be. That one little bit of grain can do a lot of damage. And that's why I say to people, please, you might be on your own, but you're powerful, and you can do a lot of good for people. So don't know why I'm getting emotional. I just want people to help people. So be significant, be that dust, be a pain in the ass, be that one mosquito in the tent. And we can do so much. You know what I mean? And life is bad, and it's only going to get worse, unfortunately, unless we stand up for each other. Ignore the differences and fight. Because, it's not just for us, we're fighting for our children. So be a pain in the ass, but don't lose the basic respect for other truthers, because we need each other. So that is an interesting apology for that. I don't know why I got emotional then. Just think about life, don't you? So I'm glad and appreciate the support that I have had. It means a lot to me, guys. Please just share the channel if you like it. If you don't like the channel, you don't like the video, don't share it. But if you do, share it. Tell people to get over here. The more flockers that we have, more people that think differently, the better, and we can only grow. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video on looking at crystals a little bit different. It excites me. I do get emotional about it. But that's who I am. I'm not scared. I'm not embarrassed on who I am. What you see is what you get. So guys, remember, stay safe. Smile, cause some mayhem, but don't use me as an excuse by the police. Paul told me that is only allowed on certain days. So take care, Do one good deed a day, and I'll see you in the chat in the premiere, hopefully. If it doesn't like get blocked. Alright guys, take care. Bye now.